Hi, welcome to my channel and thank you for playing this video. Our topic today is all about mental and emotional issues. If we can actually find it in our own BaZi Chart or BaZi Chart. Alright, but before we start, please watch this clip. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment or like this video. Now back to our video. Welcome back. So understanding if somebody is going through a mental or emotional anguish, if you can actually find it in your own in a BaZi chart. Yes, you can. But I'd like to actually share with you before I even give the explanation how I found this out, and at the same time how do I actually explain what are the solutions that we can actually do if we're going through the motion, is I have to actually talk about what I actually experienced. And the reason why I'm kind of inspired to do this topic primarily because I recently saw the video of Meghan Markle, and it kind of resonated at home. There are two particular lines that she actually said that I kind of related. Before I actually got into BaZi learning, I was going through severe anxiety on the brink of depression. And when she said particularly that as a wife, she wants to be the solutions provider, it kind of hit home. I'll explain later. And then when she said that as a person who's kind of strong, it's kind of hard to actually talk about it when you went through a phase wherein it was dark and all. Okay, so I'll explain. So this was 2 years ago. Okay, I've actually just to explain, I was introduced to Chinese metaphysics in 2008, and it was only in 2017 that I actually enrolled to become a professional consultant when it comes to Chinese metaphysics for BaZi, for Feng Shui and Heaven. Alright, but before I actually got into that, I was going through a lot of severe anxiety, and I think I was actually depressed, but because I didn't go to any therapist, and the truth is I never told anybody. As a matter of fact, when I told my husband that I actually was going through severe anxiety and depression back then, he couldn't picture it, primarily because I was responding to how I usually respond to things, and I never spoke to anybody. I know that's not a good practice. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even advise it, that you not talking to anybody. The thing with me was that I wanted to solve it on my own. And like what I mentioned a while ago, it takes courage for someone to actually admit. And I want to do this in silence so that I could actually, just to avoid judgment, you know. I just, that's the thing. I didn't want to go to any therapist. I just wanted to fix this and discover on my own. And I was able to do that. When 2016, I was actually going through that was the year, of my baddest year. And then it kind of, I know that I had to deviate my attention, or I needed to distract myself from overthinking things. I had to pick a hobby. And of course, having to love Chinese metaphysics, I thought of Chinese metaphysics primarily in BaZi. Okay? BaZi Reading, to be specific, is the first thing that I chose, and just to discover the art. I did not expect anything actually upon learning about BaZi, because I only thought that BaZi was all about future telling, timing, and everything. Little did I know that I was actually going to discover myself and love myself because of this art. Okay, so when I was studying BaZi, I understood. Now this is where, how do we actually find out if somebody is going through mental or emotional anguish? Now based on my experience then, I was going through an indirect resource clash. And at the same time, I was going through several auxiliary stars that affects my mental and emotional state. Case in point, lonesome star, and at the same time, instability. So instability is back and forth, overthinking of problems. And at the same time, I was feeling lonely. All right. So and I was having an indirect resource clash. Since I wasn't actually going through any illness, it affected my mental state and emotional state. All right. So in addition to that, you can also find this in your hour, like this one. You can, if there's a clash that affects your hour pillar, this can indicate that there is a change of perspective, and sometimes not all change is something that we respond to positively. So which is why sometimes the change can be painful at first, which can actually create anxiety and so on feeling. Okay, so that's how I discovered back then that I was actually going through something. And I know this wasn't me. I'm usually jolly and I'm usually go-getter. And I discovered, okay, I was going through this motion. And so just because I was studying BaZi, and I wanted to actually create a solution for myself, what I also did on the side was actually studying human behavior. I was studying a little bit of neuroscience. I was started off studying anything about the mind. Okay? Now, in the course of my own discovery, at the same time learning about and doing self-awareness through my BaZi chart, it's through the BaZi chart that I discovered who I was, what I'm capable of, what my strengths are, what are the things that I can do, and when are my best timing. That's what I love about BaZi, and something that I'm very grateful to have learned these things about myself. Because of these knowledge, I started to love myself more. Okay, and then I incorporated it with additional knowledge from neuroscience and science, all about the mind, and allowing me to understand how to actually respond if you're actually going through the motion of the mental or emotional anguish. And this is what I actually discovered, that when we're feeling emotional, what happens what happens is it changes. When we're too emotional, it becomes too strong, and it affects our perception. And when our perceptions change, whatever reaction or response we get from the external environment, from the people that's around us, we sort of misinterpret and think as though that the emotion is validated. Okay, let me repeat. Okay, so basically, this is the reason why, as much as possible, I would always advise to be bigger than your emotion. Embrace your emotion, that's part of human being, but be bigger than it, and don't let it affect the way you think. Okay, just to expound. What are the things that you might be asking? What are the things that I actually did when I was actually trying to solve this emotion? The first thing that I did was I started meditating every day. I did not miss a day without meditating. The reason why I love meditating, it allows me to pick, despite all the noise that's surrounding me, I get to focus on the things that matters to me. All right. And second is I continue to do some self-awareness, reflection. What are the things that I actually want? What are the things that are non-negotiable to me? What are the things that are valuable to me? It can sound like as if it's selfish, but in order for the people around you to be happy and for you to be someone that gives them value, to make them feel happy, you have to be happy first with yourself. You have to love yourself first. It's the same concept. In order for you to love someone unconditionally, you have to love yourself unconditionally first. You have to love every bits and flaws, every imperfection that you have. It's not despite the flaw, it's because of my flaw I love myself. That's the kind of self-awareness that you would want to be, so you know exactly where you are and where you want to be. You cannot be able to speak specifically what's my goal without knowing what your strengths are, what your weakness, what are the things that actually bring you joy. Okay, so this is the first step. So you'd know what are the goals, what are the things that you would like to achieve in life by finding out where you are and who you are. Okay, I hope I hope that's clear. Okay, and then next step is continuous education. Continuous education is one of the things that I did, especially when it comes to solving my problems. If there is a problem that I don't know how to solve, I educate myself on how to solve this problem. And because of the information, and then at the same time loving yourself, knowing yourself more, and at the same time using the key steps to help you achieve mindfulness, will help you on your own be your own therapist, be your own figuring out what's this feeling, what this mind that I have, and at the same time allows you to not overthink things, because you're the one, as you know, my teacher would always say, if the problem is you, the only person that can fix is you. Okay, so again, if your problem is you, the only person that can fix you is you. Okay, so there. So that's the thing. If it's our mind, it's our emotion, it's only us that can change the perspective. They're big coach, there'll be mentors to guide you, but at the end of the day, it's your choice to change your perspective or your mindset at the end of the day. Alright? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something today. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.